Welcome back to the channel. I'm Shelby, aka 88 Fox, and today we're gonna do something not too different, but a little different. I got this 98 Mustang V6 for like, I think it was 200 bucks. And I've been wanting to get the 89 4-cylinder Fox back in action, and one of those things that I needed, or that I wanted to do, is go ahead and do a 5-lug swap on it. So 5-lug swaps, you can buy them around for like 400, 500 bucks, but I just bought a whole car. No title, no nothing. It doesn't run due to some fuel issues, so I actually might look at that and see if the motor is any good, see if I can get it started. But the main thing I'm interested in is the 5-lug stuff in it, so converting to disc brakes off 5-lug, and like I have all kinds of like 5-lug wheels and tires back there, so that'll be super cheap way to do a 5-lug swap and get some decent tires on this Foxbody while I continue to try to source parts. By sourcing parts, I mean I still need a window, still need a fender, and then I still need to actually like do some paint and body. Yeah, so since this car doesn't run, it was actually sitting over there, you can probably see the tracks, and I decided since they're going to be mated together, might as well, you know, use one car to push another car into the shop. I could use literally anything else, but this is the route that I chose, so here we are. We'll see. Let's see. I need to back up, get readjusted. Oh, is that? Okay, there we go. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing the rest of the way in and me film at the same time. Nice. Alright, and stop. Okay. So, I need to go a little bit further, but I don't want it to hit the 88 Fox, so we're going to have to give it a little bit, give it the juice, at least get it over that hump. And we're in the clear, I think. Alright. Let's back this thing up. Yeah, I need a new T5 for this, if anybody's got one laying around. Oh, she runs so good. Let me turn my fan off. And shut her down while we go explore the 98. Alright. Yeah, flat tires. I guess I could just push it more and turn it a little bit so I can get it on the lift. I thought the 88 was closer, but we're looking at a pretty good gap here. So, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing on the lift, figure out how I'm gonna do that, and get the 4-cylinder Fox loaded back in the shop so it's secure from the elements, because it's supposed to rain tonight. And then we'll get started. This is gonna be fun. So we got the Mustang racked. Just had to push it a little bit more with this guy and turn the wheel, and I got it go straight out there, and I had to re-air up the tire that's already flat again, and just push it in, and it went in nice and smooth. got the Fox turned around. So we'll get started on like racking this up, well, on jack stands and stuff, because I don't have another lift. But yeah, I do, however, just have like this overwhelming desire to see if this thing will run. So I had a battery that I got over there, trying to bring it back to life. We'll see. I don't know. We'll give it the juice, see what happens. If not, it's actually got a 21 date on it, so I might be able to get, that's a premium. I don't know. I might be able to get a partial or free replacement. But this 21 date Super Start Premium does work. Notice my little rigging here because, let's see, because that battery cable is busted. So I just got it held together with some vice grips, you know, and it came out of that. So let's see. Let's just see for funsies if this thing will work. I know that I can turn the key because I rolled down the windows, but I didn't actually try to start it. All right, 138,000 miles. Let's see. It's showing it's got a full tank, which I'm suspicious of. Let's see. Oh, what happened? What happened? Did our battery crap out? Oh yeah. Come on. You good? We good? We are good. All right, let's try it. Okay, well, I don't know if I smell any fuel. Let's try one more time. And once it starts, it's not going to. Alright, well, might see about spending a few more minutes on it, see if I could get it started. So that you can get a better idea of what I'm gonna do here, theoretically, I say theoretically because I've done this before on the 88 Fox, but I think it was off of a 04 Mustang where I got all the parts from. So theoretically, these are all the same. So I should be able to take this brake line loose, pull this clip out, take the brake line off the caliper from the car, then unbolt right here on your strut, and then take the bottom bolt off of this ball joint, and also take your tie rod end off, and then the whole assembly will come off, and it should just bolt right up to what we got going on here. So we'll just try to see if we can just straight up swap the assemblies. As you can tell, like, this brake line looks pretty much identical. I don't know, I think that might be like a 3/8 in MPT or something like that. So we should just be able to take that clip out, pop that new one in, bolt it back together, or screw it back together, and then bolt up your hub assembly. I don't know, what would you call that? The whole assembly. Yeah, I guess hub assembly to the shock, and then to the tie rod end and lower ball joint. Oh shit. That lower ball joint is actually pretty ate up. The whole suspension under here is ate up. So we might even just see, I don't know, we might see if we just put it on there temporarily and then just order some new ball joints. Obviously I'll need some new struts at some point in time too, so figure out what all I need and then we'll just order it in bulk and get that done. So that's what we're going to do. First I'll go ahead and take this full assembly off, and then take the driver's side full assembly off the Foxbody, and then try to see if everything mates up, and then and if everything goes well, we'll do the passenger side. Alright, we got the spindle, hub assembly, everything off of the 98, and then also got it off of the 88 or the 89. So, do you ever forget why you hate something and then something happens to remind you of why you hate it? Kind of like an ex-girlfriend or whatever. Yeah, hub assemblies on a 4-cylinder Fox. So you can remove everything, get it all loose from the struts, the ball joint, and the tie rod in, but then you can't get the actual spindle off of the ball joint until you actually pull the hub off of the spindle, because this bottom lip sits right about here, and then it sits on the inside of this actual rotor. So instead of being able to take everything in one kind of fell swoop like off of the 98, I had to take the hub off, then, well, which started out with taking the brake caliper assembly off, then take the hub off, and then take the spindle off. So I'll hopefully just be able to pop all of this on, hook up the brake line, and be able to make it good. And so I'm going to try to see if it all fits before I actually replace this ball joint, because I need to know if I need to get a different ball joint, or like off of the 98, or if I can just use a factory Foxbody ball joint. So I'm actually going to try to hook everything up, and then I'm going to put a wheel on it and then put it on the ground to see how it sits. Because, I mean, if all else fails, I think that maybe we can just swap the entire A-arm. I don't know if there's any size difference, but, you know, whatever. I could probably Google it and get all the answers, but I like to try to do things myself. So here we are. So that's next. We're going to put that right there. Hopefully everything just bolts up with no problem. Put a wheel on it, put it on the ground, and see how she looks. Alright, we got the spindle and everything put on this Foxbody, and those are the wheels that I was planning on using, but they might be a little too big. I might have to get something with a different offset. Yeah, they come out a little bit. There's some minor inconveniences, so had to replace the strut with the one from the 98 and use the strut brace off of the Foxbody. There's the one from the Foxbody. So just these holes were just a little bit wider on the 98 spindle. So yeah, there's that. But besides that, oh, and I also had to change out the little brake line holder, because this one's got like a star type situation going on, and the one on the 98 doesn't. So just a couple little minor inconveniences. Besides that, like, might have to do some, I'll have to see what kind of play I've got in the tie rod, because those are not even close to even. So that one really far off to the left, that one just a little off to the left. So have to do some kind of eyeball adjustments on the tie rods. If anything, might be able to use the tie rods off of the 98. So we'll get there when we get there. But let's see. I don't know how good this strut is. The strut actually feels pretty good. So we might just go ahead and rock with those stock struts off of that 98 and keep on keeping on. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of this assembly back on this car and throw a wheel on it so I can, and then get to the other side. Yeah, so that I can get her did. And yeah, that'll go 4-lug, which is kind of funny. It's going to be funny looking. But I have to do it that way because I don't have any other way to get the car out of the shop. So I'm going to have to roll it out. So double the work, but it is what it is. That looks pretty cool. I hope to maybe go with those wheels, but we might have to go with something with a different offset. Either way, so far everything's kind of working out. I don't really know where we left off because it's been 2 weeks since I've done anything on this, because we had triplets just a couple weeks ago, so haven't been out in the shop. But I got this side on. Don't mind how rusty it is, of course. I think I mentioned earlier I'm going to go through it and make sure, just get everything mounted and get it right, and then we'll worry about ball joints, etc., what needs to be replaced, so on and so forth. Got this side mounted, but I had some issues with getting the old brake caliper off, which is over there. Actually this line, so I had to end up, let me see if I can get some better. I had to end up cutting this line off in order to get it out of there. So I got a flare kit, but I don't know where it's at, so I ordered a new one. I'm gonna see if I can put a flare on this and put a nut, or the whatever you call the little nut, flare nut on there, and see if I can bend it back around and get it to mount back up to this. But if not, I'll just buy a new brake line. These brake lines are like, I don't know, like 10 bucks, and then it goes from right here up to right there, and then that's where it lives. So if I have to, I'll just, well, maybe, or is this the brake line? Uh-oh, it's a different brake line. I've been fooled. So yeah, I think we're gonna just try to bend that, because this one goes all the way, yeah, I don't know. Might go all the way over to the master cylinder. I don't know. But yeah, we'll probably just flare it. Maybe I can cut it right here if I have to, and then flare it, and then bring it back this direction a little bit, bend it, and then get it to plug into there. But yeah, crap happens, I guess. But if you notice, like, that is, I guess you would say, towed in pretty heavily, and so is this one. Got the steering wheel somewhat straight. So I think I'm going to try to see how much play we have in these tie rod ends, and then see if those are going to be the ones we use, or if we need to go see if we can take the ones off of this one, because this one's really towed out, and see if we can swap those. So yeah, that's next. Well, I adjusted the tie rods and overshot it a little bit. Now they're towed out. Not bad though. I mean, a few screws in, it'll be good. This one too. But yeah, we'll get it there. I'm not super concerned, just want to get it to where it's better than it was and a little bit better than it is now. so that when we do go to drive this thing, it's not just gonna, I don't know what to do, just wear the tires out or vibrate to death. I don't know. But also, while I was messing around, I got the old fitting off of the old caliper. But what's funny enough is I was going to have to do something anyways, because if you look, this bolt, or this flange, flare nut, whatever, is not the same size as this other flare nut. So this is the flare nut off of the 98 for the passenger side caliper, and this is the one off of the 89 Foxbody. So something was going to have to be done one way or another anyways, so I think that once our little flare kit gets in tomorrow, we'll just do, I think that's called a single flare, or maybe it's a double flare. I don't know, I need to Google. I haven't done a flare in like 10 years, so that's why I can't even find my tool anymore. But we'll do the flare and just kind of modify the existing brake line to get that on there, and then that way this can kind of be wrapped up. And then another thing that I remembered, because I haven't even adjusted tow on a vehicle in so long, is I always remembered that, you know, back in the day when I did this kind of semi-professionally while I was going to college, I always remembered that I just used two adjustable wrenches, crescent wrenches, to adjust tow. And I was like, why did I do that? Why didn't I just get the right size wrench? It's because nothing fits. Like, it's not a 1/2 inch, it's not a 9/16, it's not a 13, it's not a 14. It's like probably something weird like a, what would that be, like a 17 32nds, and then yeah, so use two adjustable wrenches, get it where you need to be, call it a day. Alright, so now that I've got it back on the ground, again, these wheels probably are not going to work. I'm going to need to use something different, so I'll probably just clean up the factory wheels, which are right there and over there, still on the car, and maybe put a little bit skinnier, or not skinnier width-wise tire, but skinnier height-wise tire on there, and see how it looks. I don't know, because I don't think that it might. These wheels might just be a little too wide, actually. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm going to throw this tire on that side of this 98. And then I'm going to bring the toe in on either side to where it's relatively straight. And then I'm going to work on the back side. Cool. So we've got the rear end of the donor car prepped to drop. So wanted to kind of show what I did. So unhooked the e-brake cable, which goes up here, and then I got it sitting up top, and then I went ahead and loosened the shock mount, the lower control arm, and then the upper control arm mounts, and then disconnected the brake cable. Let me turn my light on here. And then essentially followed suit on the other side, removed the e-brake cable, removed the lines, and then loosened up all of this as well. So since I do have this suspended, and you're dealing with shocks and springs and stuff, I've got it sitting on my, well, transmission jack, but I'm going to go ahead and take the shock bolt out, and then what I'm going to do is bring the jack down a little bit so that it hangs on the springs. 'Cause I don't want to take the lower control arm out first, because that'll just shoot out. Could be interesting, or it could just kind of bind up, whatever. But either way, I don't want that. So let it hang on the springs a little bit, And then I will take the lower control arm out. Spring should be able to drop out of there. Put the wheels back on, and then I'll let it hang on this upper control arm, and then lower the car to the ground until there's some weight on it, and then I will pop these upper control arm bolts out, and then I should be able to just roll the whole assembly out. Raise the car up, roll the whole assembly out. Oh yeah, I did take the drive shaft off as well, and then I pulled the exhaust already a little while ago. So I will go ahead and just film the process, and hopefully nothing breaks. Alrighty, so there it is. That is the full differential axle shafts, axles, and 5-lug disc brakes off of that 98 Mustang. So this is gonna sit off to the side for a little while. I got to get that rear end out and put it in there. That way I can get this thing out of my possession. And then, as you can notice, it's leaking pretty good on this differential cover. So I'm gonna pop that differential cover off, double check everything, so check all the spider gears and everything. I don't think that there's any issues with it. I didn't hear anything clunking or clinking around, so probably just gonna send it. But I'll put some new differential fluid in there, and a new gasket with a little bit of silicone probably, and then bolt it on into there. The one thing that I don't know yet, the e-brake cables, from my understanding, these e-brake cables are all the same from like 79 to 02. I may have got that wrong, but I think I'm going to go ahead but the only difference is let's see if we can see it from here. Wait, is that it? No, this is supposedly a little bit longer, which is required for these brake lines not to drag, e-brake lines. So that is where your parking brake is. So I'm gonna pull that parking brake, pull these cables just to make sure, and then we'll have to do that swap so that I can have an e-brake. If all else fails, they make these pieces right here adjustable, so I can just get an adjustable one and do it to my desired tension. But I don't think that we'll have to do that. Trying to do this as cheaply as possible. But yeah, so we'll pull that as well before we actually drop everything off, and then that way I can just have it all for this and get this wrapped up. Coming along. It's been a process, but we're getting there. All right, we're back on the GoPro Hero 10. I'll be interested in seeing the difference in quality, or if there is any difference with this one and the 7. But yeah, I got everything wrapped up on the rear end as far as the brake lines go. I think I already mentioned that. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this. I'm probably just gonna like cut this bracket off, if we're just being real honest. And then on that side, I don't know. Haven't figured it out yet. But we'll probably do all that once we get that rear end back in the, or into the Foxbody. But if you notice, this is on the ground. I got the 4-lug drum brake swap done. So, except the drums are over here. So it's ready to be rolled out here shortly. I'm probably going to see if I can part out a couple things in it and use a couple things for my 98 Cobra. Problem is, this has got that gray interior. I don't know if I'll be able to use anything at all. Ooh, I might be able to use that dash vent over there, because I think mine's broken. And yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyways, I might do a little part out before I get rid of it. I already sold the exhaust on it for $100, so that's cool. I think the motor and transmission are good, so I might see if I can get a couple $100 out of that. I bought the whole car for $400, so, or was it $200? I think it was $400. I don't know, one of those. So, yeah, but that's pretty much that. Oh, I do got to pull the e-brake out and get that little clip off of it too. I did pull the cables just to have. We'll figure out exactly that situation once we get the rear end in this car and get this car pulled into the lift and get it up there. And that's where we're gonna finish doing everything on this. But I got to get the rear end in there, get it at least mounted loosely, and then do some obvious cleanup. Pull that over there where that chair is, pull this into there, and then we'll be in business to carry on. So next thing you're going to see is this in there, and then hopefully that on there, and then yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, this has been a long process. We got the Foxbody in the air and got the 98 sitting back here. You know, it'd be funny if I would have just filmed me trying to push that thing back. Super difficult doing all that crap by yourself. But anyways, we got the Foxbody in the air, got the rear somewhat mounted. I don't have the shocks in there because the factory Fox shocks will not fit in the SN95 shock holder, so she's stretched out to her max right now. But I'm just gonna go ahead and replace these shocks because they are beat up, and I would replace them with what's on here, but these are pretty well beat up as well. So definitely gonna grab some shocks. Another thing, while I was kind of pulling this car out, like these wheels just straight up were hitting the fender every which way possibly could. So gonna have to take these bad boys off. Sucks. I was hoping they would fit. I feel like they fit on that one, but not on this one. Or maybe, actually, you know what? This was on my 88 Cobra. These were on my 88 Cobra. I don't know what happened to the wheels that were originally on that. Man, I have no clue. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and pop these 98 V6 wheels off. They're pretty clean. I like them. And then just going to go ahead and put some new tires on them, because these are just busted up. So we're about to drop a couple $100 on some stuff. I do know for a fact I will need ball joints, and I believe need tie rod ends. Yep. So we'll grab those as well. Yeah. And besides that, I need to finish getting the brake line put together for this one, or for this side. Connect all the brake lines on the back. Probably gonna get just new brake pads. These rotors are, well, they got some surface rust on them, but they seem fine. Let's see. Yep, those are fine. These got a little lip, but let's see, we've got some pad on there. You know what, I might not even put brake pads on it right now. We'll just do the damn thing. Yeah, and then bleed the brakes out, and then we'll see what the scenario is with the e-brake cables. But I'm not super worried about that at the moment. Those will be a little bit later on. But yeah, now ready to start doing some stuff on the Foxbody, get it ready to roll. I think what I left you with was I got new shocks in, and then I got all the lines tightened and plumbed up for the rear. I still don't know what I'm gonna do about this yet. I think I'm just gonna zip tie it for now. Same with this side, or like try to eventually maybe weld on some kind of holder thing, kind of like we got up here at the top. I didn't use any of the e-brake cables because these are the ones from the Foxbody, and these are the ones from the 98. So as you can tell, they're definitely different. They don't plumb up the same. There's your ends of both of them. So unless I did some kind of fab work, which I don't even know if you could do, those aren't going to work. So I ordered off of LMR some e-brake cables for disc brakes for a Foxbody. So we'll get those put in when they get here and plumbed up. And let's see. So I got the ball joint done on this one, this side. I still have to do the other side. And then I'm going to replace the inner and outer tie rod on this side just as well. While I was replacing the ball joint, I had the end link disconnected, so the whole damn control arm fell down, which ended up making that spring pop out. And then I had to take I don't even have the nuts back on there yet. Had to take the lower control arm off, and this bolt right here on the control arm just is too small, or is too long, just the right angle to where I ended up ripping this boot. So good thing is the boots are the same on anything from 79 to 04, so I will take that off of the 98 that I still got sitting here, along with I still need to take the e-brake assembly out of that as well. But we are going to get this other side knocked out. I'm gonna put the end link in before I do anything, and then we will take the ball joint out. I had to cut the other one, so there's the top stud of it, because my ball joint press just isn't big enough to press out from the top, so I'll have to cut that one too, and then we'll be rocking and rolling. So yeah, so end link on the passenger side, ball joint, replace the inner and outer tie rod. Then I will grab some parts off the 98, complete the tie rod on this side, tighten everything down because I haven't tightened anything, and then we'll try to do a eyeball toe adjustment and then go from there. Oh yeah, also got this line fabbed. So this originally kind of sits over here. In order to do it effectively, I had to loop it around, bend it, and do the brake line that way. So all the brake lines are tight. All of them should be good to go. So once I get it almost back on the ground before I actually put the wheels on it, we'll try to see about bleeding the brakes and see if I can get any brake pressure, which hopefully isn't too much of a problem. And then lastly, before I put the wheels on the ground, I'm just going to kind of clean all this rust up. Brake pads look fine. They just haven't been ran, so I'm just gonna clean the rust off, knock the rust off of them in front and back, and then we'll go do a couple of stops, and those stops will definitely take care of the rest of that rust. And then I'll probably pressure wash everything under here. I don't know, is that dirt? I don't even know what's going on here. I guess the fender well was painted along with the rest of the car, not very well. Oh, and a couple other things. I got a passenger side fender and a door. Well, 2 doors. So I'll be able to put a window in this passenger side and then replace the fender replace the window on the driver's side, replace this beat up fender on the passenger side, and we're gonna have like a car again. It's gonna be a multicolored car, but it'll be a car. All right, let me get back to it instead of talking. Progress report. Got the new outer tie rods in. I didn't replace the inner tie rods, they were just fine. So I'll just keep those as spares. Got the, let's turn the light on here. Got the inner tie rod dust cap boot thing off the 98 that's sitting over there on the jack on, and then got it zip tied up there, which apparently is the way that the new ones come nowadays. So factory, right? Okay, and then got this side done. I haven't tightened these sway bar end links to completion yet. I'm gonna wait till it gets set on the ground, loosen it up, and then it's on there, but it's not all the way on there. And then wait till it's on the ground, sitting at its like ride level, and then tighten them up, because I tried to tighten it up over there and it got all kind of cattywampus. So might need to do some little adjustments to that, probably. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I got this ball joint on and good, and then yeah, that ball joint's on, so this front end is complete. Got everything in the back torqued to tight. I wouldn't say to spec, but to tight. And then so yeah, we're going to bring it down. I still need to tighten the shock or the struts, and then we will try to bleed some brakes, see if we can get some pedal. But yeah, it's pretty much wrapped up. So brake bleeding, doing some cleanup before I put the wheels on. Do a eyeball alignment, then get on the road for a little bit and see how she drives. So we got her on the ground. We got some new Pirellis in the back and in the front. It's a joke. They're the cheapest tires I could find on Amazon. They look good. By we I mean I bled the brakes with a little bit of support from the wife. There's no leaks currently, and I did a couple of little stops to test and see if it was good. And I've got some lights on in the dash. It says brake, but I don't know, we'll see. Speaking of brake, I got the brake light out. Yeah, and I did the best toe alignment I could do, given the circumstances. So we're about to go take this thing on a test drive. The first drive of its new 5-lug swap and rear end. I'm just waiting for this thing, for the battery to charge up a little bit so I can start it and move it. And then once that's out of the way, we'll get rolling. I would push that out of the way, but man, that thing is heavy. So I don't know. If nobody comes and picks this thing up pretty soon, I'm probably just gonna trash it somewhere. I don't know. We'll see. But all right, maiden voyage awaits. So I know I shouldn't film and drive, but I'm just so happy. Foxbody is up and running. I'm driving around, just around the block a few times, and it's just running great. It feels like, I mean, the suspension feels great. It's good. So I did. This is the second round of me trying to get it going. First time I was having all kinds of issues. The brake dust pan or brake dust bracket thing was rubbing really bad, so it just sounded horrible. And then my brakes were not bled at all. Like, they were mushy. And so I've never been good at bleeding brakes, and that's been one of my things that I've wanted to learn. So I just went ahead and bought this vacuum brake bleeder kit from Amazon. It was like 60 bucks, and then I ran it the first time, and this thing is great. So yeah, check it out. So we're riding. Oh, and we're stopped. Yeah, so I mean, they work great now. All disc brakes all the way around. Yeah, couldn't be happier. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode of Shitbox Adventures with Shelby, aka 88 Fox. I'm going to get this thing back in the shop and see what's left to get fixed on it. I know I'm gonna have to rebuild this transmission. That's something that's coming up pretty soon. I think it just needs synchronizers, but we'll see. And then yeah, I got more stuff coming, but overall super happy. And so be sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, if you like what I'm doing. If you don't like what I'm doing too, please still be sure to do all those things. Yeah, cool. Pulling up to the house now. Y'all take it easy, and see ya.